Okay, with the carbonate, there's the CO3 2 minus, and then we have the fluorate, FO3 minus, and then chlorate, ClO3. So this would be chlorate here, and a calcium chlorate at that. And then sulfur. Yellow sulfur is S8, but a lot of people just use the empirical formula, which would be just S for that. So either S8 or S. Okay, let's go on to the next problem here. Phosphorus pentachloride is a PCl5, and then HPO4 2 minus would be either monohydrogen phosphate or just hydrogen phosphate ion. Phosphate would be a 4 oxygen, PO4 3 minus. And then next one would be copper oxide. Copper is a 1,2, and so in this case it would be copper 2. That is copper plus 2 with the oxide. There's a copper 2 oxide. Okay, then we got the ammonia. Ammonia, you just have to memorize that one. That one's NH3. Ammonium's NH4 plus. So, okay, here we have the names here. Alright, number 70, tin 2 fluoride would be tin 2's SN 2 plus, fluoride's F minus, so it's going to give us 2 fluorides, which would mean SNF2. And then we have the FeCO3 carbonate is a 2 minus, and so that means that iron has to be a 2 plus, and so that would be iron 2 carbonate or ferrous carbonate, and that would be Roman numeral 2, that is in parentheses. Then we have hypochlorous acid. The Aus acid we replace with ic acid. Oops, let's do that. Not that one. And then it would be sorry, let me take that back. Aus acid we replace the ite, and so this would be an ite, hypochlorite. And so we got to figure out what chloride is. We just did earlier. Chlorate's a ClO3 minus. Therefore, chlorite is a ClO2 minus, and then hypochlorite would be a ClO minus. So hypochlorous acid would just be HClO. Chromium 2 bromide. Alright, chromium 2 is 2 plus, bromide's 1 minus, so it would be CrBr2. CrBr2. Okay, let's go on to 71 here, which would be potassium hydrogen carbonate or potassium bicarbonate would be the first one there. HNO2. HNO2 would be nitrate is NO3 minus, so therefore nitrite is NO2 minus, and so that would, when we have ite, we have to replace it with Aus acid, so this would be nitrous acid. And then we have the zinc with the HSO4. SO4 2 minus is sulfate, so HSO4 2 would be a 1 minus, and that would be hydrogen sulfate or bisulfate. Okay, and then we'd have zinc bisulfate or zinc hydrogen sulfate. And then zinc is a fixed charge of +2. And then we'll have copper 1 fluoride, and so it's got to be copper with a +1 charge and fluoride, so just CuF would be adequate for that. Okay. Alright, the next one is an ionic compound, metal and non-metal, so this is going to be cobalt. The charge on cobalt we can get from the subscript here. It's going to be cobalt with a 3 plus charge, oxide would be O with a 2 minus charge. And so this is going to be cobalt, Roman numeral 3, parentheses, oxide, okay, or cobaltic oxide. Cobalt 3 oxide or cobaltic oxide. Now we have sodium, okay, and then sulfate is an SO4 2 minus, so this has got to be sulfite, and so we have the sodium sulfite here, and we have a hydrogen there, so it's going to be sodium hydrogen sulfite or sodium bisulfite. Okay, then we have calcium dihydrogen phosphate. Well, phosphate's PO4 3 minus, And so dihydrogen is going to be H2PO4, and the charge is going to be minus. And so calcium is a 2 plus, so we'll need 2 dihydrogen phosphates for every calcium. We'll put that in parentheses. So we see it here, 2 dihydrogen phosphates for every calcium. And then we had the sodium hydrogen sulfide or sodium bisulfite, the lithium bromide here, and the magnesium nitride there. Alright, moving along here, ammonium is this ion here. Now IO3, well, we've got to figure out what iodate is. Iodate's in the 3 oxygen block, and so it's got a minus charge, so that would be IO3 minus. And chromium is 3 plus, so we'll need 3 iodates for every chromium. Then we move on to potassium hydrogen phosphate. So this must be the monohydrogen phosphate. So this is going to be KHPO4. But how many potassiums do we need? It's plus. Monohydrogen phosphate's 2 minus. Therefore, we'll need 2 potassiums for every monohydrogen phosphate. Then we go on to Hg2Cl2. Hg2, you should recognize that. That's mercury 1 ion. You have 2 of those, so altogether the total charge is 2 plus. And then chloride ion. So this is mercury 1 chloride or mercurous chloride. And then HiO4, it's an acid, and so we got to look at the anion. The anine's IO4 minus. We can tell it's minus 1 because H is plus. We have 1 of each. Therefore, IO4 minus, well, iodate. What is iodate? Iodate is IO3 minus, so IO4 would be per iodate. Now, if it's an 8 acid, then what we have to do is drop the 8 and change that to ic. And so this would be HCl4 would be HiO4 would be per iodic acid. Per iodic acid. So let's see where we're at here. Okay. And then we got the cobalt 2 sulfate. Cobalt's 2 plus, sulfate's SO4 2 minus. So COSO4. Lead 2 nitrate. Nitrate is NO3 minus. We got lead 2, so it's going to be PB parentheses NO3 close parentheses 2. Then selenium dioxide would just be SeO2. 2 oxygens, 1 selenium. Then we have magnesium nitrite. Magnesium is a 2 plus, nitrite is, well, nitrate's NO3 minus, so nitrite's going to be NO2 minus. So it's going to be MgNO2 NO2, excuse me, taken twice. And so MgNO2 2 times. Just write that out. Like this, MgNO2 2 times. Alright, then we got the, after magnesium nitrate, we got FeBr2. So this has got to be iron in the 2 plus. Take care of those 2 bromides. So this is iron 2, Roman numeral, bromide. This is going to be silver, fixed charge of +1, so this is silver oxide. And then tetraphosphorus, 4 phosphorus, heptasulfide, 7 sulfurs. So P4S7, and then MnCl2. Mn is manganese, although that looks like an R. Mn is manganese, and it's variable charge, so it's a 2,3. And therefore that would be a manganese 2 chloride. Manganese 2 chloride. Okay. And continue on here. Next, let's see. We got here. Okay, NaClO2. NaClO2 would be sodium chlorite. Chlorate ClO3, so chlorite ClO2. Sodium chlorite. Then we have SNO. This has got to be tin with a 2 plus charge, so we call this tin 2 oxide or stannous oxide. And then K2TeO4. Tellurum's below selenium, which is below sulfur, and so sulfate is SO4 2 minus. So tellurate would be TeO4 with a 2 minus charge. So this is potassium tellurate. Carbonates is CO3 2 minus. Zirconium is a variable charge, so that's zirconium 2 carbonate. Okay. 79. Chromium 3 chloride. It would be oh, excuse me, not 3, chromium 2 chloride, which would be a Cr with a 2 plus charge, and then would require 2 chlorides to balance out the charge there. So CrCl2. And then nickel. Nickel in this case is a 2 plus because we got ClO3. ClO3, as you call this chlorate. So that would be nickel chlorate, nickel 2 chlorate, Roman numeral 2 chlorate. Then we go on to cobalt 3 phosphate. Cobalt 3 is 3 plus, phosphate's a 3 minus. So this is just a PO4. 1-to-1 ratio works for that. And then calcium periodate. Iodate is IO3 minus, so periodate would be IO4 minus. And so we need 2 periodates for every calcium. And so C8 IO4 2, as we see here. This is cobalt 3 phosphate, nickel 2 chlorate, and chromium 2 chloride. Okay. Let me pause this here.